All right, let's dive in. We are about to connect a really strange puzzle from the Bible to a massive, mind-bending theory about the ultimate purpose of the entire universe. It's going to be a wild ride, so let's get right into it.
So it all starts with this one kind of weird question. If you actually read the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, you'll notice something odd. You find two completely different genealogies for Jesus. So why would that be? And you can see the problem laid out right here. Matthew traces the royal line, right, through King Solomon, and it moves forward in time from Abraham. But then you have Luke, who traces a totally different line, through another one of David's sons, Nathan, and he works backwards from Jesus all the way to Adam. Look, these aren't just little typos. These are two fundamentally different family trees. So what on earth is going on?
Well, the first clue to solving this whole mystery might just be hiding in plain sight, in the very last book of the Bible. And it suggests this isn't a mistake at all, but a message about a fundamental duality. And here it is. Jesus is quoted saying he is both the root and the offspring of David. Now, the offspring part, that's easy enough to understand, right? That's the descendant, the historical person that the genealogies are trying to track. But the root? That implies he's also David's ancestor. This really gets to the heart of the paradox. How is that even possible? It seems to point to two different natures, one that exists within time and history, that's the offspring, and one that exists completely outside of it, that's the root. And this whole idea of pre-existence, it lines up perfectly with that other famous statement, before Abraham was born, I am. So what this suggests is that one nature is the historical man, born into a specific lineage, while the other is eternal, existing outside of time itself, you see? The two genealogies might just be the Bible's clever way of pointing to these two completely different natures.
Now, to really wrap our heads around this duality, we need to unlock a really profound philosophical and theological concept. It's known as the Logos, or the Word. So you can think of the Logos as the divine blueprint for reality itself. It's the underlying intelligence and order of the entire cosmos. And in Christian thought, this abstract eternal principle was made real. It was made manifest in the person of Jesus.
So the most crucial point here is this distinction. The Father represents this infinite, unmanifested potential, like the pure, unexpressed idea. Christ, the Son, then represents that idea being expressed, spoken, and made real and tangible here in the universe. Now, I know this can feel really abstract, so let's try a simple mathematical analogy to make this whole model of the Father and Son, and really the whole Trinity, a little more concrete. Okay, so just imagine the Father as the very concept of pi. It's this perfect, infinite, complete idea that exists all on its own, outside of any specific expression. It just is. The Son, then, is like the endless, unfolding list of pi's decimals. It's the perfect manifestation of the concept of pi, just playing out infinitely. The list of decimals is pi, but it's pi made manifest, made visible. And what's so cool about this analogy is that it actually helps resolve a famous biblical contradiction. The concept of pi is, in a way, greater than just the list of its decimals. Yet, the list of decimals is totally inseparable from the concept. They are fundamentally one and the same thing. Okay, so that brings us to the third part of the Trinity. If the Father is the concept and the Son is the expression, what role is the Holy Spirit playing in all this? Well, in this model, the Holy Spirit is the process itself. It's the active force of manifestation, that dynamic link that connects the unmanifested potential of the Father to the manifested reality of the Son. It's the becoming that happens between being and being expressed. Okay, stick with me, because this is where the model just expands dramatically. What if this whole principle of manifestation isn't just about theology? What if it's about the fundamental nature of the cosmos itself? The idea here is that the Logos, the Word, isn't some static thing. It's a dynamic principle that actually encodes the entire process of cosmic evolution, the universe unfolding and becoming more and more complex over time. And the implications of this are just fascinating. You know, we always hear in physics that the universe is trending toward disorder, or entropy. But at the exact same time, we see this undeniable parallel trend toward greater complexity, from particles to atoms to life to consciousness. This model suggests this drive toward complexity isn't an accident. It is the purpose of evolution, driven by the Logos, and that gives a meaningful direction to the arrow of time. So, if the universe is evolving toward ever greater complexity, what's the end game? What's its final destination? This leads us to a concept called the omega point.
The omega point is this theoretical future state where everything in the universe, all matter, all energy, awakens into a single, unified, superconscious state. It's the ultimate endpoint of this cosmic drive towards complexity.
But here's the final, mind-bending twist. This model reframes the omega point, not just as a destination we're moving towards, but as a force that is actively pulling us from the future. It acts like a complexity attractor, drawing the universe towards its ultimate divine purpose.
And that leaves us with a truly profound final thought. We started with two competing family trees in the Bible, and we ended up here. This whole perspective suggests that maybe the universe isn't just some random expanding accident. It suggests that from the smallest particle to the grandest galaxy, everything might be taking part in this incredible evolutionary journey, a journey towards a final, conscious, and maybe even divine point.